Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly NFL column called Black Quarterback. And I'm just here to give you my wild card round picks for this upcoming weekend. So, first game we got on the schedule is the Carolina Panthers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Panthers beat the Rams back in week 13, 31-28, in a game that I particularly like to call a sucker punch game. The reason I call this the sucker punch game is because both teams have kind of had different seasons to indicate that this game should have had a different result. So the Panthers, they've been good this year, but they've been sneaky good. You know what I'm saying? So they'll get a couple wins here and there, but they also, have quite a few losses on their record. They've got enough wins to actually get them in to have them compete for the division title this year. And even then, they had to they even lost that game and had to kind of sneak into the playoffs. They had a must-win game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lost that, and really couldn't get into the playoffs unless they had a win, unless the Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints. For the Los Angeles Rams, they've been playing like Super Bowl contenders like all year. You know what I'm saying? Very good offense, very good defense as well. MVP quarterback in Matt Stafford. So they've really been doing their thing, except in that one game against the Panthers, where they just got caught slipping, and you know what I'm saying? Panthers delivered that blow to them. So, with that being said, even head to head, I think even head to head in a rematch just a few weeks later, I'm going to give this game to the Los Angeles Rams. They have way too much experience. This is a team that's coming off a Super Bowl from just a few years ago, and on top of that, they've been running up their postseason experience with Matt Stafford at the helm. So, in addition to that, Sean McVay been on their behind lately. he had them. He didn't even rest them during the final week, just for just not pleased with how they've been playing these last couple of weeks. So definitely going to give this game to the Rams. Next up is the Chicago Bears hosting the Green Bay Packers. So Chicago Bears, young team, new head coach that really just kind of took the division by storm. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Packers, strong start to the year, but injuries have just kind of derailed them. In fact, they've had bad losses towards the end of the year. 4 game losing streak to be exact, including a game a loss to the Chicago Bears a couple weeks ago when they lost to them in overtime. Um, Caleb Williams, his development has been a big difference for this Bears team. Rookie season, he had flashes, you know what I'm saying, of flashes just being the number one pick and all that, but this year, Ben Johnson has really transformed him into a bona fide quarterback, legit star right now, and it has this team rolling. So to me, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears in this game. Even though the Packers have more experience, I just feel like their inconsistencies are going to get in their way. You know what I'm saying? And so the losing streak is kind of going to be I feel like it's going to be deflating for them a little bit going into this game. So definitely going to get this game to the Chicago Bears. Next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills. And in my opinion, this just may very well be the game of the entire weekend. Just based on the fact that this game has the potential to really get the scoreboards lighting up on either squad. Um, the Jaguars, new coach, whole revived offense. Travis Etienne, he's been doing great. Trevor Lawrence, he's been playing some of the best football of his career. And they just had a strong finish to steal the division. Um, Unfortunately, for the most part, Indianapolis is running the AFC South, but unfortunately, since they lost their starting quarterback for the year, they had to take a sour dip, and so that just opened the door for Jacksonville to come in and take the AFC South crown. Um, Buffalo, they kind of took a back seat to the Bills this year, and the interesting part about that is this. with the Chiefs being out of the playoffs, everybody's kind of looking for Josh Allen to really have his shining moment to get in the postseason this year. And so, despite them taking a back seat, they still looking like the Bills are still looking like, very much like a strong team uh, to make a playoff run. Yeah, they might have to do it on the road a couple games, but it's gonna. They still look like a very solid team. Uh, you know what I'm saying? To just go win it all if that comes down to it for them. To me, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills in this game. Now, it might on paper it might seem a little it might seem like it can just go either way. I mean, even comparing their receiver groups, I think the Jaguars have the better receiving group with Brian Thomas Jr. And with the addition of Jacoby Myers. Um, but the Bills have Josh Allen. That's just what it really comes down to. Josh Allen, Bills running back James Cook, they're definitely a tough duo that's going to give what I'm saying, teams a lot of trouble. So if Allen can't do it, Cook is definitely going to be there to do it. Um, and even then, the Bills, just as a whole, they're going to find a way to win close games. So, they've had enough close games this year where they've lost, but they've also had some where they won. So I mentioned the Bills earlier. They lost to the Bills earlier in the season, close game, but they beat them in a close game as well. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals in a close game. Um, the Philadelphia Eagles, they almost beat them. Uh, they were shut out for like 3.5 quarters. Then fourth quarter, they just turned it on, and what I'm saying, really just try to orchestrate a comeback in that game. So a team that can do that, that's a really dangerous squad. So I'm definitely going to give this game to the Bills. It's not going to be a blowout by any means at all. Jacksonville is just too good of a squad to have that happen. But definitely, the Bills are going to take this wild card game. Next up, we had the San Francisco. Excuse me. We had the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers. So the Eagles, just same old story as it has been all year. Their offensive struggles just seem to continue. And previously I mentioned about the Bills game that they just barely won. In that game, they had a strong offensive start, but second half they were shut out. Just had minimal yards. For the San Francisco 49ers, while I was on the subject of struggling offenses, they got beat up by the Seahawks defense in that last game. But before that, they were just balling out back to back multiple touchdown games by Brock Purdy going into this going into the Seahawks game. And in addition to that, the 49ers have been having like a ton of injuries on both sides of the ball. George Kittle was out for a game or so. Ricky Pearsall, he was out in his last game. Um, I want to say McCaffrey might have been hurt for a couple games or so. But even then, they lost Fred Warner to injury for the year on their star middle linebacker. So they've been dealing with some terrible injuries. And even despite all that, they've still managed to compete for a division crown and the one seed, which is an accomplishment in itself, considering what they went through, and especially considering what division they're playing in. NFC West, one of the toughest divisions, as it has been for the last few years. Um, so they've definitely been able to overcome and persevere and get to the playoffs when a lot of teams probably wouldn't be able to. So for me, I'm going to, despite that Seattle game, I think the Niners are going to find a way to win this game. And really, it's a couple of things like, so I mentioned them overcoming all the injuries. So I think they have the attitude to like persevere and compete with this Philadelphia Eagles team. But I also think that the Eagles offense is just it's just too many times where they're just showing their inconsistencies. And right now is not the time for that to happen. It's late in the season. It's the postseason now. Everybody's supposed to show like they're on point, like they're sharp. Hell, even the starters got rested. The Eagles caught flack for resting their starters in the regular season finale. So um, it remains to kind of be seen how sharp this offense really is going to be, considering they haven't really played football in a couple weeks now. So definitely going to just give this game to the 49ers as it stands. Um, New England Patriots hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Um, Patriots, as I mentioned, with the in the Bills spiel, they took the AFC East by storm. They at one point they had a 10 game winning streak. Mike Vrabel has came in. He's transformed this team tremendously. Drake May, he's played as a strong MVP candidate for this squad. Um, and this Patriots team, they almost kind of remind you of the old Patriots. As far as the Los Angeles Chargers go, they've been battling all year. They almost could have been playing for the division crown if they didn't lose to the Texans back in Week 17, and so they just kind of had a bad finish to the regular season. Lost to the Texans, then they ended up resting a lot of their starters, and so it ended up losing to the Denver Broncos, and so they probably needed that rest. A lot of their players have been falling down due to injury as well. Um, Coming into this game, the Chargers are going to be looking. Justin Herbert is going to be looking to improve his playoff narrative. Hasn't won a playoff game last couple times. I believe his first playoff game, his first playoff outing, he lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in a comeback win for the Jaguars. Last year, went on the road to face the Houston Texans and lost to them. So he's looking to like really get that first playoff win before it develops into a certain thing on his reputation. Unfortunately, I do not think this is going to be the game where he gets that win. The Patriots team, Um, they're just built to win this playoff game. They're just built for the potential elements that might be happening in this game. Supposed to be cold. Obviously, it's New England. It's January, so things are going to get a little bit rough out there for them. It's going to be that playoff weather that everybody's so in love with. So I just look for this Patriots team to just pull off with this win. It's not just Drake May. It's Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson out of that backfield that's really going to deal some damage. And Stephon Diggs, for what it's worth, despite the controversy or whatever he's got going on, he's really been great for this Patriots team as well, as far as like helping a young quarterback out and helping him make big plays. So definitely look for the Patriots to take this game. Final game of the weekend will be the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Houston Texans. So this is going to be a this is going to be a very very interesting game, so to speak. So for the Steelers, they've had a turbulent season all year, all the way until the end of the year, and so they just they've had some spotty wins, some spotty losses. At one point, the fans were chanting, "Fire Tomlin." You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of fitting that the Steelers faced the Ravens, and in what almost like in hindsight 2020, that was probably lose the game, lose your job type of game between the Steelers and the Ravens, considering what happened with what the Ravens did with John Harbaugh. Texans also had a shaky start, but they had a solid run after the bye week. They've had some big wins. They've beaten they've beaten the San Francisco 49ers. They knocked off the Colts. They were instrumental in knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs. Um, they even beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I'm saying, to put themselves in a position to actually win the division. And so they've done this mostly with the best defense in the league. particularly when it comes to scoring points. This Texans team leads the league in points allowed. Um, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, both coming off that edge, are complete monsters. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the quarterback. Um, the only thing is, the offense has been kind of inefficient. You know what I'm saying? They really been up and down, trying to find their identity. Most of it is started with the offensive line protection, and some of it can be, trickled down to play calling. Same thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been kind of up and down with finding their different ways to move the ball, and it's especially been tough for the Steelers since they've been without DK Metcalf these last two games of the regular season due to him getting suspended for his little tiff with that fan or whatever. So um, it's been real. It's been real tough for the Steelers. They've just been finding different ways, going to Jalen Warren, going to Kenneth Gainwell, finding different tight ends. You can see they even use Connor Hayward to do the brotherly shove, tush push, whatever you call it, the tight end sneak or whatever. So it's been a real interesting experiment or real interesting go with those guys. Um, Still, for me, I feel like the defense is gonna, the Texans defense is gonna carry this team to a win, like most of the games that they've done so far this year. Um, you know, like I said, number one defense, best defense in the league. And that's, you know, been their consistent thing. Like, even throughout the losses, they've looked like, the best defense on the field. Um, so this Texans team, they're going to carry this team, uh, just like they had through most games. Now, offensively, there's still something there. C.J. Stroud, he looks like he's trying to get back into his stride a little bit more before he sat out, though, before he got hurt and had to go through concussion protocol. They still have some weapons on offense that's going to move the ball. They got wide receiver Nico Collins. They got tight end Dalton Schultz. Um, Woody Marks, even though his production doesn't scream like factor back, when it gets to around that fourth quarter to like kind of stabilize the offense and maybe close the game out, he's definitely very effective in that manner. And so I think if the offense can find a way to put all those pieces together to move the ball up and down on this Steelers defense, then they'll definitely have a chance to win this game. So yeah, going to go ahead and get the Texans this game for the Monday night, for the final wild card game of the weekend. So that's all I got for y'all this for this wild card round. If you're watching this on Facebook, facebook.com/BrandonBlog, like my page, like this video, share it to your news feed. If you're watching this on YouTube, like this video, hit the subscribe button, share this video to whoever, wherever you want to share it to. So, with that being said, I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.